Hey y'all! Happy November 10th. Yes, November the 10th.
We're live.
I still got this cough. I'm telling you.
Well, we're not really live. We're kind of
No,
live.
we're not. We're not. We're live right now, but when you guys see it,
We're
it'll be a
live.
week out. This will be our second episode, and
Welcome to Murder in the Mountains. I'm Martha.
and I'm Shauna, and we are coming at you live worldwide,
Or at least
Deep
countywide.
in the Appalachian Mountains,
Coming
nestled
at ya.
within. Yeah, coming at you.
This is Woodrow, our mascot. Sorry.
It's-
He's here. He's going to be with us. He's taking a little...
He's got his
I just wanted to say, sorry about our last video. We had a couple problems. Number one, we did it on my personal page. I couldn't figure out how to do it on Murder in the Mountains, so I'm sorry for all of you, hundreds of you looking for us.
millions
You
of
couldn't
people
find
trying
us.
to find us, and we were somewhere else.
But it's now on there, and you can go back and watch it. And also, we were sideways. I didn't know. My mom sent me a text. You were sideways. Like, well, we were sideways. Crazy,
So
but
now we're squished in
We
together.
are.
The
We
whole
love it. Our whole
entourage
family.
is here. Mhm.
And one last thing my mom pointed out, these signs, they're backwards, like because the camera's turned around. It says caution graphic info, but it's backwards. But yeah, the Murder in the Mountains sign, so actually to you it probably says red rum in knee and high. Something, whatever, mountains backwards.
Yes.
Okay, but anyway.
But if you see this sign come up,
Yeah.
it does mean that if you are going to be offended by something, that you need to turn it down or turn it off
Or go away.
Yeah, but the minute we put it back
Go to the
down,
bathroom.
you can you
Yeah.
can start listening.
Right.
So, and I apologize for not knowing how to work my phone and setting the timer and
Yeah.
set it for 15 minutes for 15 hours. but
keep it that long,
I
I
got
promise.
it figured out, and so we're at 12. Yeah, so.
Oh gosh, it's
I know.
ticking down
I'm
quick
telling you.
already?
I'm telling you. Yeah. By the time we get these disclaimers
It's not
done.
moving though.
Oh.
It's-
Resume. Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. So, where was
To
that?
recap, just for a few minutes, we're just going to take it back just for a second. What we did was we went over the incident with the Rife family and his conviction and spending 20 months and 1 day in prison, and he gets
Where
out.
was that, by the way? What prison?
You know, I'm not sure. I don't. That first stint, I have
Yeah.
no idea where he went.
don't
I know. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give it away. But and then after that, the library incident. They came quick. They came quick.
And you know, we
best line of the last little video.
if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Yes, because
We're
I think
live.
both our moms would
Yeah.
get really mad if we
Yes.
reenacted that. So
Yeah.
we'll stop.
And also, we thought of something pretty funny. This sketch, when they were talking about doing a sketch and they couldn't identify him, this was the sketch, but maybe they could have identified him in some other way.
Yes, because I'm
Considering
sure
what
that
he was doing, I don't know.
maybe there was a mole
Yeah,
or
something.
something.
Size doesn't matter.
Was he, like,
Cheers.
oh, cheers,
Size
yes,
does not matter.
cheers,
Cheers.
that's right, size. But what else, if that makes you feel better.
Totes adorbs. What else?
Okay, so we are now up to date. We stopped in January of 1981, and we had just started on the next phase of our series, which is somewhere later in that year, in 1981. There was a couple, Brad and Wanda McCoy. Brad was the youngest son in his family. They described Brad as being slight-built and soft-spoken. He graduated in the class of 1978 from Grundy Senior High School.
His dad was Hezzy, who worked for United Coal, and also Brad worked for United Coal. And they said he was what I was reading in the research, worked in the parts department at shop number 1, but also he back in those days, we had the Grundy office and Bristol office, and every single day someone would bring mail back and forth. A huge, we still have the mail bags, huge mail bags.
Oh my gosh.
And drive it back and forth, and he did that sometimes.
Brad would?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The thing that they said about him was that he was a smart guy, and that he when he graduated from high school, 3 days after he graduated, he started working for United.
Oh, wow.
So on June the 16th, 1978, he started working at United. And that he was, like I said, he was a smart kid, and that he did not go into the mines. He worked at the shop. And
not to say that the miners are not smart, because the
no. He was just young.
But I did read that in this book that I read. They said since he was so smart, he worked above ground. But
hey, so we had a little technical difficulty. This is part 2 of video 2.
actually, one of my sons called me from upstairs wanting some cinnamon rolls.
Yes, so we've got to make it quick because those things bake super quick in her oven.
So if you hear any dings, that's what it is. And now we've got a timer up there, so we can
We
sync
do.
ourselves.
Okay, so there you go. Woodrow is ready to roll.
Yes. And by the way, while you're saying Woodrow, one of my sons made this head. Why do we have an obsession with heads? And this is really gruesome. So
it is.
I think they're gonna be just like me and want to watch Dateline and Discovery ID all the time.
Yes, and I do have to say, one of the things that we did not mention last time, I think that the straight up Dexter style there. Which I love that show. Did you watch that show?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Oh my gosh, you've totally got to watch it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dexter?
No.
What?
I'm sorry.
On HBO.
I was more like a Brady Bunch kind of gal.
I just was on. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe she's never seen Dexter. Anyway, I do want to say, and I apologize because we were right in the middle of talking about Brad McCoy and his job at United Coal at shop number 1, and him working above ground as a parts
clerk.
Yes, a parts clerk. That I just want to take a little sidebar and say that we really want to honor the ladies who were that we talked about in episode 1. So we're talking about Miss Hatfield, and we're talking about Miss Rife, and we're also talking about Miss Gilbert, and they are true Appalachian heroines, and that is what I hope to be one day, as a Appalachian heroine.
Yes.
So
and we also have another one, which is Wanda
coming
up.
Yes,
but
and her, and but we do hope that you guys see that that's what we're coming from. Is we just wanted to honor those ladies because they really persevered in the situation that they were in. So back to Brad McCoy. He worked at the Piggly Wiggly while he was in high school. Before he graduated, he worked at the Piggly Wiggly, and he met a young lady who was, I do not have her name, but she was a Thompson, and she was one of 16 children. There were 8 girls and 8 boys.
8 is enough times 2.
Oh my gosh. And they met while working at the Piggly Wiggly, and he had a crush on her, and she kind of passed him off on her sister.
To her younger sister.
Yeah, to Wanda Faye.
Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda
Faye.
Faye.
Another
Wanda
good
Faye.
Southern name.
Like my mom, Retta Faye. But this is Wanda Faye. Wanda Faye Thompson was born November 5th, 1961. She was the second youngest of 16 children. She was raised...
Her birthday was just last week?
Yeah, November 5th. Yes. Yeah. And that's really ironic because, Roger Keith Coleman's birthday was...
November 1st.
Yes. So their birthdays were really close. And she was raised on Home Creek, and she was described as being painfully shy, and her sister described her as being just about perfect. And that, that says a lot,
so
I think,
sweet.
when a sibling says that. But,
Yes,
I mean,
my
I wouldn't
kids
know.
Would not. I know, me either. We're both only children.
I know.
But my kids fight like cats and dogs. The day that they would say their sibling is perfect, not gonna happen. I
Yeah.
can't imagine. It's like the day pigs fly. I don't know.
My children are perfect. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they live in the same city. Yours chose to go, and they live together, right?
They
Right
do,
now.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
They wanted to move, and they knew that they needed each other to do it. So,
So
thank
sweet.
goodness that
That makes it easy for you to visit too.
it is. I
Yeah.
kill two birds with one
Yes.
stone. So, but anyway, sorry. They met, and their families described them as like the perfect match. And he had graduated from high school, but Wanda was only she was young. She
dropped out of high school.
she did.
to get
She had dropped out
married.
of high school, so she
Yeah.
was probably only 16
Right.
or 17
Yeah.
when they got married. And I think it's really cute because they got married in July of 1978 at the Grundy Baptist
Yes.
Church, which
We've both spent a lot of time there, even though it wasn't my
Yes.
church. But
I'm a member of the Grundy Baptist
Yes.
Church. I never moved my letter.
Oh, really?
No,
I went to
yeah.
vacation Bible school there.
I know, but that was really crazy because that was one thing that everybody did all summer long.
Yeah.
Is we just went from vacation Bible
Different
school.
churches.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
matter, and that was so great because all summer long, the churches would plan it so that one
Oh,
church would
yeah.
have it one
That was
week,
smart.
and then some churches, if they had it the same week, somebody would be in the
Yes.
morning,
Yeah.
somebody would be in the
Oh, that was
afternoon.
smart.
So
That was
I mean,
very
we
considerate of them.
really went to church
Yeah.
to vacation
Right.
Bible school all summer long.
Well, and I have to add that Wanda's sister, Trish, was her only bridesmaid, and she, of course, was married to Roger Keith Coleman.
Yes.
And
So if you haven't caught on to the pattern yet,
and he stood up in the wedding too, by the way. Yeah.
he
Roger
stood up.
Keith, yeah,
Oh,
for
for
Brad,
Brad.
yes.
Okay, so Roger Keith Coleman and Wanda's sister Trish were married, and
No. Oh yes.
okay,
Sorry.
and then
Something.
Wanda was married to Brad, and so that meant that Roger Keith Coleman was Wanda's brother-in-law. Are we right there?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the connection that
Right.
Wanda and Roger have. And so on March the 10th, 1981, Brad McCoy, who was, again, the husband of Wanda, had come home from a swing shift from United Coal. They lived at Long
Not
Bottom.
to be confused with swinging.
No,
There's
no.
no swinging
The
going
swing shift meant that, he worked different shifts periodically. And then
Right.
that, like he would work day shift one for a period of time.
Right.
And then he'd work second shift and third shift. Oh, Woodrow, get you a little sip. Okay. Whoops. So, okay, that was getting boring, I can tell. Okay, so I'm not going to explain that. So he comes home. Long Bottom is located right on the fringe of downtown Grundy. It's in town limits. Is it still in town limits?
No,
I
but
think
it's right
there
across
at
from
it.
Mountain Mission School.
Yeah, it's right across from Mountain Mission School. So he comes home, and he discovers that he discovers his wife. No, it's not. He finds Wanda's body. She's laying in the bedroom floor, and okay, I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna hold this up until I finish it. She's laying in the bedroom floor. There is a pool of blood around her body. Stop it.
Sorry. Janie was walking by.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Our live audience is here.
Yes,
Our live audience of one is here.
They bought tickets.
Okay. Hey. She has her panties around her ankle. Her throat has been slashed. She has 2 stab wounds in her chest, which have penetrated her heart and lungs. The throat had the slash in her throat had severed her larynx and her thyroid glands. She had been raped, and according to the coroner's report, she had been alive during the rape. So it had been described that she had been so brutally slashed across the neck that she was almost decapitated. So
awful.
Wanda had, suffered a horrific incident, and of course resulted in, in her death. So Brad runs to his parents' house. I'm so sorry. He runs to his parents' house, who only lived a couple of houses away from them in Longbottom, and they call the police. And so the police come, and do you have any info on that?
Well, I just, I know the police came, I'm sure, rather quickly, but there was also an evidence gathering. I can't remember what it's called. People who were supposed to come, but they were having to come from maybe forensics to gather the evidence, and it was a couple hours before they could get there, at least. So they had to sort of leave everything intact at that time.
And I also heard that, Mickey McLaughlin, or Michael McLaughlin, everybody calls him Mickey, he was the Commonwealth attorney at the time, and he came to investigate also.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
In the research that I did and the things that I've read, that he said it was probably one of the worst things that he had ever seen, and that he had difficulty sleeping at night after he saw that.
I'm sure. That's and we had several friends who lived in Longbottom. I mean,
we did, friends and teachers.
Yes,
and
spent the night there before, in that neighborhood, and that just, it's
we
crazy
should
to
ask
think
Mary about that.
Yes, we should.
Miss
Miss
Stiltner.
Yes.
She lived there also.
Mary, if you're watching, let us know.
Please. So.
Yeah, that's just so gruesome to think of that happening. And I don't know if any neighbors heard anything. I didn't really read about that.
The ironic thing about it was it was so centrally located. It wasn't like this was
right
up, like they were right in the middle of
right next to it. So, did anybody report hearing anything?
I'm so sorry. No, I've never heard. I've never read anything that stated. I'm so sorry. that anything was heard. Any neighbors heard anything or anything
weird.
like that. So it was, but it really didn't happen. I mean, it happened like around 10:30. So it wasn't really late at night or anything, and everybody was close together. But I think the reason that people really didn't hear anything was because they suspected, once, and I don't want to give it away, but they thought that she knew her intruder, and so when the person that came to knock on the door to let him in, and they said she was afraid to stay by herself, and so that she would not probably have opened the door for anyone other than someone that she knew.
Right.
And
so it wasn't like a break-in or anything.
Right. And even though there wasn't a sign of struggle or anything, there were some pry marks on the door, but they really think that she just opened the door up and let whomever it was into the house, her attacker into the house. So, are we caught up so far?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so when after they do their research and after the investigation is complete, they and I'm sure this is no shock to anyone, charged Roger Coleman with Wanda's murder.
And after they cleared Brad too, because
Yes.
the husband's always the first,
The first,
suspect,
yes.
and I'm sure he was very nervous about that and everything.
I mean, wouldn't it be terrible?
Yes, that's awful. And being so young. And,
yeah.
I just can't imagine what was kind of going through his head.
Well, I mean, there you come home and you see this, and you've lost your spouse, and you're so young. I mean, just to be so young, and
Yes.
and that
Oh,
and
can't
everything.
imagine.
But they charge Roger Coleman with her murder, and like we said, the connection is Roger is married to Wanda's sister, and so that would be her brother-in-law, and
And so they're thinking she just let him in, obviously.
yeah.
And by the way, her family at first had an issue because they got married after he had already spent that 20 months and 1 day in jail, in prison, and her family was not too happy about that at first, but then they got over it and they're like, well, he's, I think they started thinking he was an okay guy. So
Well, he never admitted to any of that.
Yeah.
The incident with at the library, as well as the incident with Miss Rife.
Oh, he always said it
he
wasn't him.
always said it was false identity. He, so they. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Elizabeth, I'll call you right back. But it's like, so they really thought that, he thought, and I think they believed that. They wanted to
right,
believe
of
that.
course
He
you
wants
want
to
to.
believe, he
You
wants to
don't
believe
wanna
that.
think his son-in-law is doing anything bad.
Yeah, I mean, he
And
wanted,
also, his wife stood by him for quite a long time she
she stood by him a long time.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So so we're right at the 15. Where are we going to push to?
Oh yeah. Well, I want to show what I consider to be a little bombshell.
Okay, I think that we ought to
Yes.
to do to the
Well,
bomb.
first
The
of all,
bombshell.
I'm going back, and this might be a little out of order, but we said he graduated from Grundy Senior
Yes.
High School, as we called it back then.
Yes,
I don't know if
well, it's
a
still Grundy Senior High School.
GSHS.
I think.
Okay, this
I
is
don't
a
know.
picture of him in jail with his cute little bracelet. Well, right here, I'm guessing that is his high school class ring. I think it might be.
I think it was probably when he went from local jail to prison.
Oh, he graduated.
He graduated,
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
does Jostens do something?
Which one? I'm so sorry. So
Does Jostens have like a program?
I think they do with
Like
with local
the
law
rings?
enforcement. But no, I really think you're right. I think you're right.
So I did a little investigating. Let me just show
Our
you.
live audience is here. She has a
one
question. You
moment,
have a
please.
question?
One moment, please. It'll just give me like 3 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Our live audience is exasperated.
we talked a little bit last time about the yearbook situation. Okay.
Look at that.
This is our yearbook from first grade. We're both in here. And the interesting thing was back then, this is 1970 and
we wrote
19 blah,
scooch
blah,
on
blah,
it a little
something.
bit. Yeah.
74. Back then, we have 2 yearbooks, and I'm sure they did this before then too, but it goes from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Right, so
Isn't that
everybody,
crazy?
I know.
Yeah, but it's very handy.
It is.
So, just to, all my signatures are in there. I'm sure you're in here somewhere.
Oops,
Sorry, Roger.
1974.
To a real sweet girl. There's Billy.
Oh,
What's it?
Billy.
Billy Witt.
Oh, Billy Witt. Hey, what
He was
up,
just
Billy
here not
Witt?
too long ago.
Was he really?
He was.
Does he still have red hair?
He does.
Aw.
He does.
Hey, Billy.
So Sean and I are here. We're in first grade. I don't even know if anybody could ever see
right
this,
here I
but
am with the worst shag haircut ever.
So cute. Like shag
yeah.
carpet shag hair.
Yeah, shag hair.
I had shag hair too. So
And let's
second
see.
grade.
Oh, and look at Martha with the little
Yeah.
pigtails.
So cute.
Adorbs. And all of our
Adorbs.
friends are in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is what no one has picked up on. Or at least I don't think they have. I think I'm totally tapping into this clue that nobody has noticed. So here we have class of 1977. We have Roger Keith Coleman. Help me out here because I don't have my glasses.
Hold on a minute. Roger Coleman, right here.
He didn't have the Keith in there, but right there he
Right
is. Okay,
here.
class of 77.
See him?
Okay, then you turn one page, okay, and you come up on Randy Newberry. Same class,
Yeah,
1977. Now I'm going to tell you
Right
the
here.
significance
Right here
of
is Randy
this.
Newberry. Right here's Mr.
Randy
Newberry.
Newberry in 2011 went on to kill some policemen in Grundy.
Mhm.
A horrific crime, and then he was shot and killed. But now you tell me how two people out of the same class ended up in this situation. Cold-blooded murderers in the same class.
In the same class. That is some...
And I don't think that topic has been explored enough.
It hasn't. It
That's
hasn't.
my bombshell.
And that was a good one.
Yeah.
I think I got some blowback on that. There's
I'm
that
excited.
bombshell. It was some blowback on that. But I mean, you're right, because statistically, to have two people
Yeah.
within the same graduating class,
Yes, it's
yeah,
crazy.
it is. But
Well, can that
we
be
are
our cliffhanger?
Yeah, that'll be our cliffhanger.
Yes.
When we at our third episode, we are going to move into the trial. So where we're at right now is hopefully next week my throat will be better. But we are at Keith Coleman has been charged with the murder of Wanda McCoy, his sister-in-law. And so, our next episode, we're going to move into the trial.
And there's some good stuff coming up.
Yes, great stuff.
Yes.
Great stuff. So,
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching last time, too.
yes,
I really appreciate
yeah,
you all
we're really
out there.
sorry that we had a few technical difficulties.
Apparently we had some this time, too.
we
We're
did.
piecing together two videos here.
We did, but that's what happens when you're trying
Yeah.
to bake cinnamon rolls, which smell
Right, that's true.
delicious, by the way.
And answer phone calls from your son upstairs.
And your daughter.
Yeah,
so
right. It's
I
just-
mean, it's just
It's
life.
life. Bye.
Bye.